How's it going, everybody? My name is Mike Dewan here with the Region Sports Network, and we're here at Crown Point High School for another episode of the 100-Yard Walk. I'm here with Crown Point head football coach Craig Buzea. Coach, how are we doing today?
Doing great, Mike.
Always a pleasure to be out here. We're going to talk a little bit about the off season. I know you said we're kind of just wrapping up. Where are we at, kind of, gearing up for the fall?
Yeah, actually, we gave our guys about 2 or 3 weeks off here before the end of the season, before the end of the school year, and basically they lift in class, and that's about all we see. And we want them to get all rested up and feel good about coming back out in June.
Sure. Last time we saw you guys was that ring ceremony you guys had here. Again, a pleasure to be out here. But it was, of course, a great night. Of course, always kind of symbolic to, close the book on that previous team. What does a ring mean to you? We didn't really ask that question when we talked with you. I think there's a lot of different answers to what a ring like that could mean to you, whether that's you want another one, is it bittersweet, you want to improve that ring, of course. What is that symbolic for, if you were to say?
Well, I think it's more for the players, to be honest with you.
Okay.
I mean, that's something that, they'll look back on and have it forever. I think if you just look at that ring right there, it just shows a lot of hard work, a lot of teammate,
Sure.
a lot of teamwork, sacrifice. Our guys did a tremendous job to do what they were able to do, and I think they'll look back with fond memories. Now, for me, I've got 3 of those rings, and they all look the same.
Right.
And at some point, I've told some people before, if I, one more runner-up finish, and they'll start calling me Marv Levy around here. So, and be part of the Buffalo Bills.
Right. We don't want that.
Right. But it's anytime you get there, it's a special moment, and
sure.
it certainly was last year.
Definitely. Looking at kind of the players that are going to be playing on this field this fall, you lose a little bit, but from what I read, I mean, you guys are still very young. That defense is young. You had, 4 sophomore starters in that state championship game. Yep. And, of course, you got an all-state tandem in the backfield as well with your signal caller and, of course, Larry Ellison. Talk to me about some of those guys that are coming back, as well as some maybe surprises that we may not know about.
Yeah, I think when you get, have a season like that and you lose – so many good players. And,
Sure.
and we had a young team last year. I think we had about 10 seniors that actually contributed for us. But sometimes it's not who's coming back, it's who you lost, right? And so we lost some tremendous players. And you start talking about Will and Paul Clark.
Right.
And, and Seamus Molaski, Jeff
Right.
Meshady. I mean, that could Landon Delich. I mean, those kids sacrificed so much for our program. And even though we feel like we got some really good players coming back, it's who's going to fill those roles, and we'll find out. But, we feel like our kids have worked hard. I think we've taken a lot of momentum into the off season. And, it's, as we told our guys, it's a new team. It's a new season.
Right.
We don't get any accolades or anything, when we step on the field against Lowell in the first game. They're not going to spot us any points because of what we did last year, and it's something that we're going to have to really be aware of, and I think our guys are raring to go.
Yes, sir. I always love stopping at the 50, looking at the logo. Kind of one of the things that brought you here, I'd like to say, was kind of just the ability to, this was a place that high school football was huge at one point, and you saw potential in this community to where, it could have Friday nights like we saw, last year and the year before. And now as we're kind of walking up on this whole athletic complex, not only has football changed here, but we see all the construction they're doing by the baseball fields, new baseball field, press box, all that. I mean, just talk to me about the growth you've seen just in this whole community, not only in the football program, which, you've seen firsthand, but, again, the baseball, the softball, all these other athletic, complexes that are here at Crown Point.
Yeah, it's incredible. I mean, I don't know if I've seen a high school facility like this, like what they're doing with everything. And,
right.
And it's just, it's great to see, and you mentioned our crowds last year and the year before. I mean, Crown Point comes out and they support their teams, and it's been fun to watch the whole athletic season, from, football to basketball to wrestling to girls gymnastics, winning
Sure.
state. And here we got all kind of guys doing some great things in track and in
Right.
the spring and softball. I mean, it's just a great place to be. I mean, if I was someone that's looking to go somewhere, I mean, Crown Point's got everything that you need in regards to a family and
Sure.
education. And I'm so blessed to be here, and the timing was perfect. And I just feel very, very fortunate to be where I'm at.
Definitely. I wanted to get into family a little bit later, but in the early parts of your coaching career a little bit, Coach, the landscape of Northwest Indiana football, we can safely say has changed over the course of your coaching career. As a coach and kind of going through those experiences, how have you maybe changed from year 1 to year 32, where we're at now?
Yeah, I think you have to evolve, right? I mean, if you don't evolve, there's, it's just not going to be easy for you. And, breaking in the early 90s,
Right.
and as a head coach and not to where it's at now, um, I think the things that really stick out to me is number one, technology.
Of course.
What we can do now as opposed to what we were able to do before. And I look back and every once in a while you read old articles, and I can remember someone in the Post Tribune or Hammond credited me with bringing the passing game to the Julian Conference, and it was like 1994, and that's when everybody was, if you threw the ball 10 times, I mean, you were a renegade, man. Right. And now you see what everybody's doing now, right? Spreading it out and doing some things. But we have we still do a lot of that, but we still believe in the same things I believed in the 90s, right? The game of football is football. It's blocking, it's tackling, it's fundamentals. A lot of the things don't change in regards to, third and fourth down efficiency, turnovers, that type of stuff. It's the same game, right? And I think you got to evolve in some components, but I think other components have stayed exactly the same.
Gotcha. Before we hit the red zone, I want to finish out again about family. I think this is kind of one big family, especially with how many players are on this team and how this community is really, kind of wrapped up together in Crown Point football. Kind of maybe a triple-barreled question, but I know like your wife, Barb, is a huge component of kind of just the parents, the club you guys have, the Touchdown Club, I believe you call it. I saw a post they made. They called her with the real Coach Buzz. I thought I saw on her social media. So talk to me about the work, that whole Parents Club has done, of course, anchored by your wife, and then just how much family just plays a role into, of course, the players on the field, the assistants, and just this whole community.
Yeah, and again, sometimes the head coach gets too much credit, and obviously they get a lot of the blame too. But we sort of restructured this whole thing when we got here, and thought that we needed to go in a different direction in regards to how we wanted to do some things as far as a booster club or a touchdown club. And we are very, very fortunate to have a lot of people that got behind it and sat down with me and said, "Hey, Coach, what do you need?" And I think that's what it's all about, right? Sure. It's not what everyone else needs. It's what we need to do to make this experience for our players the best experience they're going to have in high school, and that's all we want to do. And our Touchdown Club has done that. Again, you mentioned my wife, but a lot of people have spearheaded that operation, no matter whether we're doing a golf outing or fundraising or whatever. And it just takes you mentioned family. Sometimes we think about just our family, right? But this is one big family.
Yes.
And let's not forget, none of this happens without an outstanding administration. You could have everything in place to have an outstanding program, but if you don't have administration that's going to support you, you don't have a chance. And we're very, very fortunate from the top down, from our superintendent to our principal to the school board, to all the way down, our athletic director. We have fantastic administration, and I can't thank them enough, and our booster club and everything else that goes along with it. But we feel like we got it going right now in the right direction. We're not where we want to be yet, but I think we continue to climb, and hopefully we'll get there.
Amen. All right, this is the Red Zone Rapid Fire. You ready?
Yes, sir.
First thing, Arizona College Prep. Talk to me about that matchup week 2. Of course, we got Lowell week 1. We got to worry about them, but that's obviously, that kind of sticks out in the schedule a little bit. I know you had Taft last year. Of course, that was a fantastic event, but talk to me about week 2.
Yeah, so this is going to be one of my former players, Steve Vaught, who took over the head coaching job there. It's going to be his first game as a head coach, and he's going to be facing his old ball coach. And also that's going to be something else. They come in with a loaded team. Lost to the state champion last year in Arizona in triple overtime in the playoffs. So we're going to have our hands full, but it's going to be fun to be going against them.
Good, can't wait. Whenever I ask this question to coaches, your name always pops up, but I want to hear yours. If you were to give me a Mount Rushmore of coaching mentors throughout your life, who would they be?
Well, I start with my dad, because he coached me in Little League and Babe Ruth, and wouldn't be here without him. And then obviously my head coach, Les Thornton, in high school. He was really my mentor. I give him almost all the credit for what's happened here. And then when I broke into the business, I had a lot of guys that helped me along the way. Bob Maddox, Les Klein, who was the head coach at Portage at the time. All were mentors to me. I still have a lot of conversations with Leroy Marsh. Who was, when I was breaking in, was sort of my mentor in regards to being a head coach. And if I had a question, he was always there for me. So those guys stick out.
Gotcha. If you were to give me a favorite football memory, either as a player or as a coach, if you could hone down on maybe one or two, I know it's a loaded question, but if you were to hone in on one, what would it be?
I'd say my first win was my first game in 1994 when we upset Lake Central there, #1 in the state. You can't forget about that one. But the ones that really stick out the most are the ones that got us to the state finals.
Right here on this field, just about.
Yeah.
I think in this end zone, right? That was
right
that
there.
Was
we broke it up right
pass.
there.
Yeah,
Jacob Jones got a hand on it, but in '94 it was beating Snyder at Portage to get us there, and then when I was over at HF, we beat Simeon to get it. Those games stick out because those are the games that got you to where you wanted to be.
Huge for the community. Love it. Favorite,
Absolutely.
if you were to say maybe outside if you're at any professional stadiums, favorite fields you've coached or played on.
Oh man, I would say Lucas Oil. I mean, I don't know if there's any better
outside of professional.
Okay. Well,
I know that's a tough. Yeah. That's pretty easy.
Yeah. That's
an awesome field, though.
Yeah, it really is. I'll be honest with you, and this is a little partial, but when our place is rocking, I don't know if there's any better venue in high school football. And we had a couple last year, but when you start talking about that Westfield crowd,
it's unbelievable.
I really don't know if it gets any better than that.
It was packed. I remember, again, just driving by, even on a crazy Friday night like we had, driving by, it was insane here. Favorite sports movie, if you had to pick one?
Hoosiers.
Okay. Favorite athlete growing up as a child, or maybe just all time?
Walter Payton.
Good call.
Yeah.
And as we kind of round this out, what is left to be said about these upcoming Bulldogs, and just for you, Coach?
You know what? Every season is different.
Sure.
We're gonna approach it that way. We're gonna do the same things that we've done, and hopefully things work out for us. But I am so proud of the way these guys have handled their off season. There hasn't been one bit of entitlement, anything like that. It's been truly. I love my job. I love coming to work, and I think that's about all you can say. And it's because of the people I work with and the people I'm able to teach and coach.
Let's do it. That's a touchdown here at Crown Point High School. For Craig Buzea, I'm Mike Dewan, Zach Miller behind the camera on the Region Sports Network, the only game in town.